Hi guys, it's Nick Halen. Want to thank you for joining me on this nice sort of cool Northern California day. It's actually raining today. Hasn't rained much since mid-January, so a bit of a drought, but it's nice to have some. I went skiing yesterday at up near Mount Shasta. It was awesome to have some powder and just go up on my alpine tour skis and then come down. So it was kind of a pleasure to be able to enjoy winter for a little bit before it gets into spring. But I wanted to come on here today because I wanted to kind of start where I left off on my last, my first video, which was an intro to Rayasa Unlimited. And if you want to see that, you can definitely go to that first video on my YouTube page, and that'll be listed there. Otherwise, a lot of that stuff will definitely be things that I will cover later on as well. And I want to kind of continue with where I left off with that intro and kind of go off a little bit more about me. I've been living in Northern California and Redding for a few years now, about 3-4 years. I've kind of on and off. I've traveled a little bit in between that and gone to different places, but I found sort of what I've liked to do in this area. I found my niche and the people that really make me happy and the things that make me happy. One of those big things, which is sort of the underlying the foundation for this YouTube page for these videos, is like mountaineering, climbing, hiking, being in nature, and I think one of the things that I've struggled with. So a little bit of a background about me: I'm actually missing a finger. It's something that I've definitely grappled with my whole life. Something that is I've perceived to hold me back. I don't think that it really has, maybe, but that's my perception of it, and my confidence has probably taken a bit of a hit because of it. I felt like that's something that I couldn't necessarily express because I never really had the tools to do it, or the confidence, or something that would help me realize that it doesn't matter so much, or that I have people that can help me through things, or isn't necessarily like a, a barrier to doing things, because obviously in this day and age there are ways to get around even those sorts of problems. But I think my confidence has definitely taken a hit because of it, and i I think one of the greatest things that I've discovered over the last few years is that confidence, and realizing that it's not necessarily about what the physical limitation is, but it's more about what you do with it, and that defines who you are. And that's defines. I feel like that's defined who I am. Is that foundation for getting through things and finding that purpose and that goal and those motives to get you through your problems that maybe are perceived problems. It definitely is a physical problem and will prevent me from doing certain things maybe in a certain way, but it doesn't mean that I can't excel in other ways. And certainly I can excel in thinking and positivity and pushing through tough times, pushing through struggles that maybe otherwise I wouldn't have had that firmness of purpose and mental fortitude that maybe other people don't. Or, I mean, it's just a way for me to realize, and I think I've definitely come into my own and realized that, hey, like, I have these problems, but they aren't actually maybe problems in the way that are negative, but more they can be positive, and I can frame them in a positive direction. So I think that's something that I've really appreciated, and something that maybe I didn't realize before, and maybe a lot of people don't realize themselves about some of their perceived limitations that aren't maybe limitations as much as they are just barriers to that next higher level of thinking. So with that being said, I actually did write an article a little while ago that I want to explore more and talk about more. It's called "The Power in Pushing Limits." It's on my website, rayasaunlimited.com. I will reference that website a lot on these videos. They those articles mean a lot to me because I wrote them in a time when I was in that place of trying to figure out myself, trying to figure out how to get through these limitations like my missing finger that I've grappled with. And I've realized that looking back on those articles that it's helping me continuously move forward and continuously get through those new challenges in my life that will keep happening. But I know that my thinking has hopefully gone to a better level and I'm more positive, more engaged in what I want in life, more community oriented and more focused on things that necessarily are in my control but things that are not in my control. Like this isn't in my control. I can't grow back a finger, but I can certainly think about it in a different way. And that has really gotten me to where I wanted to go. And I think I would love for you guys to maybe read that. I think you can definitely, if you're interested, you can definitely get a better idea of what I'm getting at. I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts a little bit more, and I want to keep doing this. And it's something that I think means a lot to me, and I think a lot of people maybe can appreciate that about their perceived limitations. And I think I have one that is definitely noticeable, but it doesn't mean that it's any different than someone else's or actually a barrier really. So I definitely um, I've changed my way of thinking, and it's really something that with things like mountaineering, with things like being in the wilderness and maybe approaching something that's not necessarily about yourself, but about something else that you're involved in. You're involved in this greater picture of Earth. You're involved in this human race and this way, and you have the power to think however you want, positive, negative, hopefully positive. So that's been very crucial for me, and something that I hope everyone else can learn from, something that everyone else can realize that maybe you might not want to mountain climb. That's totally fine. You don't want to mountaineer, but at least you want to push your limits in whatever you're doing, whether that's music, um, whether that's being better at guitar and being better at ice hockey. I don't any sort of thing, or just reading or writing, or maybe painting. Anything that it might not be as grand as you want it to be, or maybe as like incredible, or might not be pushing you in that direction that you want to be initially, but it's getting you to that place where you can have that firmness of purpose and mental fortitude to get through those tough times, get through those things that maybe were hard to grapple with, because it is something that has caused unconfidence. And I've certainly felt that about myself. So I hope that everyone can see that. And thank you for watching. I appreciate that. And again, I'd love for you to read my article, The Power in Pushing Limits, on my website, rayasaunlimited.com. Appreciate it. Look forward to speaking next time.